All right, so get this. Could we actually have a school run entirely by AI?
Whoa, hold on.
Like no human teachers at all,
Yeah, no kidding.
just AI.
It sounds crazy, right? Like something straight out of sci-fi. But
Yeah.
with AI getting so advanced so fast,
Yeah,
it's a question people are seriously asking.
it really is. And we've got this article that goes deep,
Yeah.
into AI and education.
Yeah.
What's real? What's hype? What are the limits?
Right.
Hopefully by the end, you'll have a better idea of what the future might actually look like.
Exactly. And the article, it really dives into this whole AI-only school thing. Like,
Yeah.
what would it actually be like?
Paint me a picture.
Okay, imagine everything from your lesson plan to the feedback you get, even like how hard your next assignment is, all decided by AI.
So like no more surprise quizzes on Monday morning from like a grumpy teacher.
Huh, possibly. Possibly not, but...
That I could get used to that.
But think about it. How would the AI actually know what each student needs?
Right. Yeah. Good point.
That's where these two big ideas come in. Personalized learning and adaptive assessment. Personalized learning means the AI, it tailors everything to you, the content, the pace, so you're not bored, but you're not totally overwhelmed either.
Okay.
And adaptive assessment, that's constantly monitoring your progress.
Right.
Right?
Gotcha.
And it adjusts how difficult things are to keep you challenged, but not so much that you just give up.
Okay. Starting to get it. But this all sounds very, I don't know, theoretical. Is anyone actually doing this AI stuff in schools now?
Totally. It's not just some futuristic daydream. Companies like Alicus and Newton, they've got these platforms. They use AI to personalize math learning.
Okay.
And they use these like super complicated algorithms to figure out, okay, what does this student actually know? What do they need to learn next?
Wow.
They even predict which concepts a student might struggle with, and they give them extra help right there, right when they need it.
That's wild. Predicting your struggles before you even have them. That's next level teaching, for
Yeah.
sure. And the article mentions there's this research from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, right?
Yeah.
They say these AI platforms, they can actually make students more engaged and get better test scores.
That's right. And that research, it specifically looked at these platforms working with traditional teaching, which is
Yeah.
important, right?
Yeah.
It's not about AI taking over completely, at least not yet.
Okay, so we're seeing some real examples of AI in classrooms. That's cool.
Yeah.
But the article doesn't shy away from the big question either. Could AI, like, eventually become the teacher?
Right.
Like, completely? What's the article say about that?
It makes a really good case that some parts of teaching, AI, can make them better,
Mm-hmm.
but totally replacing human teachers. That's where things get complicated.
Why is that? What makes human teachers, so irreplaceable?
Think about it. Good teachers, they don't just tell you stuff. They connect with you. They can tell if you're having a bad day. They encourage you. They make the classroom feel like a real community. Can an algorithm really do that?
I don't know. That's a good point. We're not talking about robots just spouting facts here.
Right.
There's a whole social, emotional side to learning that seems, I don't know, tough to program.
Exactly. And get this. The article talks about research. It says there's a link between strong teacher-student relationships and, get this, better grades.
Really?
Like it actually makes a difference, that personal connection.
Wow. Okay, so maybe AI isn't winning any popularity contests in the teacher's lounge anytime soon.
Yeah, probably not. But think about it. Beyond just like emotional intelligence, what else do human teachers do that AI can't quite grasp yet?
Yeah, what else?
Things like critical thinking or ethical decision-making.
Yeah.
Those are complicated. They need judgment, understanding human values.
Yeah.
We can't just program a bunch of rules for that.
Right.
It takes real-world experience, debating different ideas, a deep understanding of
Yeah.
like what makes people tick.
It's like the difference between memorizing a textbook and actually knowing how to use that knowledge.
Exactly. And then there's the whole mentorship thing.
Oh, yeah.
Think of the teachers who really got you thinking, who pushed you, who helped you through tough times.
Yeah, I remember a few.
That takes a deep understanding of each student, their strengths, their weaknesses, their dreams even.
Yeah.
It's about seeing their potential and helping them grow, not just treating them like numbers on a spreadsheet.
And honestly, the best teachers I had were, a little quirky.
Oh, yeah.
They had a sense of humor. They could make even the most boring stuff interesting.
Totally.
Can you imagine an AI cracking a joke?
Maybe someday, but it wouldn't be the same, would it?
No, not at all.
That shared laughter, that connection, that's what makes a classroom a community,
Yeah, you're right. So maybe instead of AI taking over, the goal should be more about figuring out how AI and teachers can work together, each doing what they're best at.
You got it. The article really pushes this idea of collaboration, not replacement. It looks at AI as this powerful tool that can help teachers do what they do best even better.
Now, that's a partnership I can get behind. How would that actually work? I mean, in a real classroom.
Okay, well, the article gives this example of Century Tech.
Yeah.
They're using AI to personalize learning and help teachers.
Okay.
Their platform, it looks at student data and gives teachers these detailed reports on each student, how they're doing. Imagine having a personalized report for each kid, showing their strengths, weaknesses, where they need help.
So instead of spending hours grad in papers and trying to, like, decode notes,
Right.
the AI could do all the heavy lifting with the data.
Exactly. Freeing up teachers to actually, teach and connect with students.
That sounds pretty good to me.
Right. It's about using AI to make teaching more efficient and effective so teachers can focus on what they do best.
Yeah.
Inspiring, guiding, helping young minds grow.
Makes sense, but wouldn't teachers need, like, some special training to work with AI? I mean, they're not teaching kindergartners how to code yet.
Right. That's where this idea of AI literacy comes in.
AI literacy.
Yeah. Teachers need to understand how these systems work, how to read the data, how to use them in their lessons. It's a big change, but it's really important if we want AI to actually help in education.
The article talks about these pilot programs in the UK that are already trying this kind of teacher training.
Yeah, and the feedback's been great.
Oh, really?
Teachers are feeling more confident, more in control when they use AI. They're seeing the benefits in their classes, and students are learning better.
That's awesome. But let's be real for a sec. There are always two sides to everything.
Oh, yes.
We talked about the good stuff, the potential of AI.
Yeah.
But what about the downsides?
You're absolutely right. We got to acknowledge that with any new tech, there are risks. There are challenges that we need to address. Like, one big concern is that AI could actually make existing inequalities worse.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
Like, we don't want a system where some kids get these amazing AI-powered lessons while others are left behind.
Exactly. Yeah, we have to make sure everyone has equal access, right? No matter their background or where they live.
Exactly. We got to address the digital divide, make sure all students have the tech, the internet they need, and we got to watch out for potential bias in the AI systems themselves.
So it's not just about the tech itself, but how we use it and who can access it.
Precisely. And another thing that people worry about is that AI could, dehumanize education. If we rely too much on algorithms and data, we might forget how important human connection is, and those social emotional skills that kids need to develop.
Yeah, it's like we said before, a good teacher is so much more than just someone who gives you information, right?
Absolutely.
They inspire you, motivate you, challenge you to think critically, and grow as a person.
Exactly. And that's why we have to be careful and balanced with AI in education. We need to see it as a tool that can make things better for teachers and students, not replace teachers altogether.
Okay, so AI as a partner, not a competitor. That makes sense.
Right. So what does a balanced approach actually look like? How do we make sure AI is helping all students without losing those essential human parts of education?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. And I think it starts with how we think about it. Instead of seeing AI as a threat to teachers, we need to start seeing it as a valuable partner, a powerful ally in creating a more equitable, more engaging, more effective learning experience for every student.
AI as a partner, I like that. But what does that partnership actually look like in a real classroom?
Okay, imagine a classroom where AI is just part of the environment,
Okay.
not a distraction or a replacement, but something that helps both teachers and students.
So not kids staring at screens all day, just interacting with programs,
Right.
but like a more dynamic classroom where tech is used strategically.
Exactly. Picture this. AI gives personalized recommendations, tracks student progress, even helps with, like, grading. But the teacher's still the one in charge, leading discussions, encouraging kids, providing that human connection.
That's a pretty cool vision, but it also brings up a lot of practical questions,
Right.
Like how do we train teachers to work with AI effectively? How do we make sure everyone has access to these technologies? What about data privacy and security?
These are all important questions, and they show us that we need to plan carefully and implement this thoughtfully.
Yeah.
We can't just throw AI into schools without addressing these challenges, right?
Right.
We need to make sure that AI is being used to benefit all students, that their privacy is protected, and that teachers are given the training and support they need to make this partnership work.
Sounds like a pretty big task.
It is, but I think it's worth it. If we get this right, The potential for students is huge.
Well, we've covered a lot in this segment, both the good and the bad of AI in education. So where do we go from here? What are the next steps in making this vision of a balanced, equitable, AI-powered education system a reality?
That's a great question, and it's one we'll be tackling head-on in our next segment.
Okay.
We'll look at some specific strategies for achieving that balance and for building an education system that really gets students ready for a future where technology and human ingenuity go hand in hand.
That sounds like a great place to pick up the conversation. But for now, we'll leave you with this thought. Imagine a classroom where AI is seamlessly integrated, not as a distraction or a replacement, but as a powerful tool that helps both teachers and students reach their full potential.
Think about it. What does that classroom look like? What's the teacher's role? How are students interacting with the tech and with each other?
These are the questions we all need to be thinking about as we figure out what education looks like in the age of AI.
Absolutely. And we'll keep exploring them together when we come back for the final part of our deep dive.
Welcome back. I hope you've had some time to think about those big questions we left you with, about AI and education. It's not easy picturing that perfect balance, but that's what makes this so interesting, right?
It really is. In this article, it gives us a lot to think about as we figure this out, this whole landscape.
Mhm.
And it keeps coming back to this idea of AI and humans working together, not one replacing the other.
Right, yeah. Collaboration, not replacement.
Exactly. So it's not about robots teaching instead of humans. What would that collaboration actually look like in a classroom?
Yeah, what would it actually look like? Give me some examples.
Okay, well, one thing AI is really good at is personalized learning, right?
Yeah.
But imagine taking that even further. Instead of just adjusting like the speed and difficulty,
Yeah.
AI could look at all sorts of student data, like
Okay.
how they do on quizzes, how they interact with online platforms, even things like how focused they are during a lesson.
Hold on. AI can track how focused a student is? How is that even possible?
It sounds kind of futuristic, but there are people working on AI systems that use cameras to track things like eye movements and facial expressions
Wow.
to see how engaged a student is. Now, obviously, there are privacy issues to think about,
Right, of course.
but the potential is there to create a truly personalized learning experience,
Yeah.
like tailored to each individual student.
Okay, so instead of everyone getting the same lesson, everyone would have their own custom curriculum.
Exactly. And here's the key.
Yeah.
The teacher's not out of the picture. In fact, their role becomes even more important.
Okay.
Instead of spending all their time grading and trying to figure out who's struggling, they can use those insights from the AI to be better guides and mentors.
So the AI handles the data, and teachers can focus on actually teaching and connecting with their students.
Exactly. And think about what that means for students.
Yeah.
Instead of feeling lost in a big classroom, they'd have a learning experience designed just for them, for how they learn best.
It's like having a personal tutor for every student.
Yeah, kind of. What else does the article talk about in terms of how AI can help teachers?
Well, what else?
Professional development is a big one.
Mhm.
As AI becomes more common in classrooms, teachers need to know how to use it well, right?
Of course.
So there needs to be training focusing on what they call AI literacy.
AI literacy, so like a whole new language teachers need to learn.
In a way, yeah, teachers need to understand how these AI systems work, how to read the data they produce, and how to use them in their lessons.
That's a big change.
It is. But it's important if we want AI to really help in education. And the article mentioned some pilot programs in the UK. They're already doing this kind of teacher training.
Okay, and what are teachers saying about it?
They're loving it. They're feeling more confident using AI. They see it helping in their classrooms, and students are learning better.
That's great to hear. But, got to be realistic. There's always two sides to everything.
Yeah, for sure.
We've talked about the good stuff, the potential.
Mm-hmm.
What about the downsides of AI in education?
You're right. It's important to remember that any new technology comes with risks and challenges, right? Like, one worry is that AI could actually make existing inequalities in education worse.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. We don't want a system where only some kids benefit from AI.
Exactly. We have to be intentional about making sure it's equitable and accessible for all students, no matter their background or where they live.
Yeah.
That means closing the digital divide, making sure every student has the technology and internet access they need. And we have to be careful about potential bias in the AI systems themselves.
So it's not just the tech, it's how it's used and who has access.
Exactly. And another worry is that AI could kind of dehumanize education.
Yeah, what do you mean?
If we rely too much on algorithms and data, we might lose sight of the importance of human connection and those social and emotional skills that kids need to develop.
Right, right. It's like we said before, good teachers do so much more than just give you information.
Absolutely.
They inspire you, they motivate you, they push you to think critically and grow as a person, you know?
Yeah, that's right. So we need a balanced perspective on AI in education.
Yeah.
We've got to see it as a tool that can help teachers and students, not replace teachers entirely.
AI is a partner, not a competitor. Got it.
Exactly. So what does a balanced approach actually look like in practice? How do we make sure AI is helping all students, but without losing those essential human parts of education?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do we do that?
It is. And I think it starts with changing how we think about AI. Instead of seeing it as a threat to teachers, we got to start seeing it as a valuable partner, a powerful ally in making education more equitable, more engaging, more effective for every student.
Okay, AI as a partner, got it. But what does that partnership actually look like in a classroom?
Okay, picture a classroom where AI is just seamlessly integrated into everything.
Yeah.
It's not a distraction or a replacement, but a tool that helps teachers and students.
So it's not kids staring at screens all day, just interacting with programs, but more like
Right.
a dynamic environment where tech is used strategically to make things better.
Precisely. Imagine this. AI gives personalized recommendations, tracks student progress, even helps with things like grading. But the teacher's still the one guiding discussions, encouraging students, providing that human connection.
That's a cool idea, but there are a lot of practical questions, right?
Of course.
Like, how do we train teachers? How do we make sure all students can access this tech? What about data privacy and security?
These are all crucial questions, and they show us that we need to plan carefully and think about how we implement this.
Yeah.
We can't just throw AI into schools without thinking about these challenges.
Right.
We got to make sure AI is benefiting all students, that their privacy is protected, and that teachers get the training and support they need to make this partnership work.
Sounds like a big job, a lot to consider.
It is. But I believe it's worth it. If we get this right, the benefits for students could be huge.
Well, we've talked a lot about both the potential and the challenges of AI in education.
Yeah,
So where do we go from here? What are the next steps in actually making this vision a reality? A balanced and equitable AI-powered education system.
That's a great question, and it's what we'll be talking about in our next segment.
Okay, great.
We'll explore some specific strategies for achieving that balance and for building an education system that really prepares students for the future, a future where technology and human skills work together.
That sounds like the perfect place to continue this conversation. But for now, think about this. Imagine a classroom where AI is seamlessly integrated, not as a distraction or a replacement for the teacher, but as a powerful tool that helps both teachers and students reach their full potential.
Yeah, think about that. What does that classroom look like? What is the teacher doing? And how are students interacting with the technology and with each other?
These are questions we all need to be thinking about as we figure out what education looks like in the age of AI.
Absolutely. And we'll keep exploring them together when we come back for the final part of our deep dive.
All right, welcome back to our final segment on this deep dive, looking at AI in education. We've talked about the potential, the challenges, and that sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
Where AI and teachers can work together to really make learning better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now let's talk about how to actually make that happen.
Yeah, let's get practical.
How do we build an education system that uses the power of AI but doesn't lose that human element?
Right. The article had some interesting ideas.
Yeah.
One that I thought was really cool was giving students more control over how they learn, making them more active in the process.
That's so important. It's about giving students ownership of their education, right? Imagine a platform where they can pick from all sorts of learning resources, set their own goals, track their progress, and AI could be there,
Yeah.
offering personalized recommendations based on how each student learns and at their own pace.
So AI isn't just delivering the content, it's more like helping students navigate their own learning journey.
Yeah, exactly. Think of it like a GPS for education.
Mm-hmm.
The student's driving, choosing where they want to go, and the AI is like the co-pilot, giving directions, suggesting different routes, offering tips along the way.
I like that. That's a good analogy. But what about the teacher in all this? Are they like just sitting in the back seat?
No, not at all. Actually, the teacher becomes even more important in this kind of student-centered learning.
Okay, how so?
They become facilitators, mentors, guides, helping students navigate this whole personalized landscape, giving them support, and still building that sense of community in the classroom.
So it's not about replacing teachers, it's more like changing their role, right?
Right,
From a
exactly.
lecturer to learning coach.
Yeah. And that means we need to change how we train teachers too, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Giving them the skills and confidence to work in this new environment. It's about AI literacy for educators.
Right, making sure they know how to use these tools effectively and ethically.
Absolutely. We've talked a lot about how AI can personalize learning, but the article also points out that it can help with some of the bigger issues in education, like inequality.
Right, yeah, making things more equitable.
Exactly. AI, if we do it right, can be a powerful tool for making education fairer and more inclusive for everyone.
Okay, I like that. How so?
Well, imagine using AI to spot students who might be falling behind and then connecting them with the exact resources and support they need.
So it's like an early warning system?
Yeah, kinda. Flagging potential problems before they become big roadblocks for students.
That's really cool.
And it can go even further. AI could help create more inclusive classrooms by providing personalized accommodations for students with disabilities or by translating materials into different languages.
Wow, the possibilities are pretty amazing. It seems like AI could really change the game in terms of making education more equitable.
Yeah, it really could. But we can't forget about that worry of dehumanizing education. How do we make sure we're using AI to make the human experience of learning better, not worse?
Right, that's a big one.
Yeah. It goes back to balance, being aware of the potential problems while still embracing the possibilities.
Yeah.
We got to be careful about how we use AI in education, making sure it always puts people first.
So it's not just about the tech, but also about the values behind it, how we use it.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And those values should always put the well-being and development of each student first.
Yeah.
AI should be about empowering, not controlling, connecting, not isolating, inspiring, not just instructing.
I like that. So for our listeners, what's the key takeaway here? Where do we go from here?
I think the most important thing to remember is this. The future of education isn't about choosing between AI and human teachers.
Hmm.
It's about finding ways to bring them together, to use the strengths of both. It's about using the potential of AI, but never forgetting how important human connection is, creativity, and empathy.
It's about finding that balance, that harmony where technology and humanity work together to make learning truly great for everyone.
Yeah, that's it. And remember, this future isn't set in stone. It's being shaped right now by educators, by policymakers, by parents, by students themselves.
So to our listeners, I want to say, get involved, ask the tough questions, and fight for an education system that prepares all students for this rapidly changing world.
The future is ours to make, and education is the key.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into AI in education. We hope it made you curious and gave you something to think about as we explore this exciting new world together.